I am. Hello, cheapskaters. Welcome to tonight's show. I'm Kath Armstrong, creator of the Cheapskates Club, where our goal is to live life debt-free, cashed up, and laughing. Can't wait. It's fun. It's a great way to live. Thank you for joining me tonight. Before we get started, there's just a little bit of housework to be done. This is a YouTube live show, so what you see in front of you now is what I'm saying, what I'm doing, waving my hands in front of you. Sorry. The voice in hand you may hear and or see to my left will be Hannah. She's not here just yet. She's on her way. Now, she will be our live chat moderator tonight. So she'll keep an eye on things for you, and got questions, she'll let me know, and so on. Now, on that note, if you'd like to join the live chat, you need to be logged into your YouTube channel, which is what YouTube calls an account, or your Gmail account. And that's a YouTube thing. It has nothing to do with me. If I could control it, I would. If I could make it easier for you, I would. If you don't have a YouTube channel or a Gmail account, you can leave a comment or a question in the comments underneath me here, and I will do my best to answer it or get back to you, but it won't be till tomorrow. And if you do have a question in live chat, if you could please put your questions all in capitals so they stand out from the general chat. I know for you it doesn't seem to go by really quickly, but when I'm trying to keep an eye on it and talk, or Hannah's here trying to keep an eye on it, it can jump around quite a bit for us. Sometimes it's a bit hard to pick the questions out if they don't stand, excuse me, now I've got the hiccups, if they don't stand out. So all capitals would be great. And I will, as usual, do my best to answer them towards the end of the show as we get going. Now, another thing I'd really appreciate is if you could give us a thumbs up. Just click that thumbs up. It's just underneath me, down there, I think. That really helps our YouTube rankings. It helps us, I don't know what it helps us do. It doesn't help me do anything. It just helps our YouTube rankings. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do, because that way you won't need to try and remember when our shows happen. You'll be notified. Now, today is, or this evening is Tuesday, 15th of June, 2021. Can you believe our year is almost half gone? Wow. A lot's happened this year, guys. Not quite 6 months. Coming up to 6.5 months. Year's almost over. Wow. All right, so let's get started. I want to talk to you tonight about pantries. Obviously, we've been talking about them for a few weeks. But tonight I'd like to answer a question that popped up during the last lockdown we had here in Victoria. And the question was, who should know about your pantry? Who should know that you stockpile? Now, this question came up during the last lockdown when there was quite a lot in the media about stockpiling and hoarding and people being greedy, and you'd see on the TV that people are fighting over toilet paper and ridiculous things like that. Okay, my answer is, folks, it is just prudent to keep that information to yourself. It is private information, just as is how much money you have in the bank, how much you earn, how much cash you keep in your purse. They are all private things, nobody else's business but yours. And so is your pantry. It is private. I wouldn't ask you how many credit cards you have and how much they total. And if you dared to ask me that, you wouldn't get an answer. Although you probably would with credit cards because we don't have any. That is your business. It's no one else's business. It's yours, as is your pantry, the size of it, what you keep in it, how you stock it. Anything to do with it, your business. There are a few reasons to keep your pantry stocks quiet, for want of another word, or to yourself. And one of them is, and the main one is, it's yours, no one else's. Another one is to stop the mockers. We all have mockers in our lives for all sorts of things. And it seems to be that if you want to live the cheapskate's way, there are going to be mockers. And we all have to deal with them. The easiest way to deal with them is, I think, just think of them as jealous. They're jealous that we're living the cheapskate's way. They're jealous that we have what they don't have. We have peace of mind over our finances. I truly think that for most mockers, jealousy is the reason they're so scathing about the time and effort and money we put into our pantries. Why would be a good question if you ask me, and I guess you are asking me, aren't you? They're lazy. Just lazy. They can't be bothered spending the time to work out what they need and how much they use over a month or a quarter or 6 months or a year. They're too lazy to be bothered shopping the sales. I know lots of people that can't be bothered. They're too lazy to shop the sales to get ahead. And sure, they often will whine and moan about not having any money and we're so poor. But if they stopped and thought about the money they are spending needlessly simply by not having a stocked pantry, well, that whine would stop, wouldn't it? Because you do spend more if you don't have a pantry of ingredients in your home ready to use. If you don't have a pantry of backup toiletries ready to use. If you don't have that spare packet of toilet paper ready to use. These are all things that, the mockers pick on. They're all things that we have that they don't. And so instead of saying, hey, Kath, can you show me how you did that, how you managed to work out how much you need, they go, I couldn't be bothered. Or, well, that's just hoarding. No wonder there's no toilet paper in the shops. It's all in your garden shed or whatever. It's not in my garden shed, trust me. The next lot, or another reason for keeping your pantry to yourself, the leeches. Am I going to get nagged for saying that? You know the people I mean. They're not your everyday friends and family. They're the people that, I'm sure most of us have come across them at some point in our lives. They're the people who tell you what they want you to give them because you have it and they want it. And you have so much anyway, so you won't miss it. And they just expect you to hand it over. Doesn't matter that you've had to work to earn the money to buy it or work to earn, to grow it or preserve it. You've got more than they think you need and they want it, so they expect you to hand it over. So, no, I don't. And you shouldn't either. And these people should never know about your pantry, what you have in it, how you got what you have, or anything else to do with it. Now, if that makes me selfish, so be it. But we work hard for the money we use to stock our pantry. I work hard all year long to make sure it has everything we need for our family, for my husband, my children. It's our money and our time that does the shopping and the packing and the organising. So no, just because I have what you want, you can't have it. Now, if someone is in real need, that's different, and I won't hesitate to help them. If someone is too lazy to build their pantry or too stupid, and yes, I've just called somebody stupid, to learn how to build a pantry, I will do my best to teach them. But they're not going to get a handout from me. I don't reward laziness. I didn't reward my children for being lazy when they were little. I'm certainly not going to reward adults for being lazy. Like me, you've built your pantry to assist your family in your circumstances. That's something everyone can do, even on the tightest of budgets. So no one other than you and your immediate family in your house, by immediate family I mean, has the right to use what is in your pantry. No one other than you, than your immediate family within your household, needs to even know about your pantry. I was speaking to a friend this afternoon, and we were talking a bit about this and what the show was about tonight. And I mentioned that I have a long-time friend from way back, based in the USA, who has taught me an awful lot over the years about pantry building, why you'd build a pantry, how you build a pantry, all sorts of things. I know that, we talk often about building pantries and how to do it, especially on a tight budget, because her budget's even tighter than ours, especially at the moment. Excuse me, guys, I'm going to cough and get a drink of water. Cheryl was a great blogger, and she shared so much on her blog, and she shared often about her experiences and her tips and what she stockpiled, how she used it, how long she would keep things for. And she did that for quite a few years. And then along came a particular worldwide event that caused shortages in her country, unemployment, lots of hardship, lots and lots of hardship in her state and within her county. They call the county. And she noticed that some governments were just taking what they considered excess. So if you've got too much, you don't need that, we'll take it, and handing it out to the people that they thought deserved it or needed it. They were just taking what wise people had worked hard to obtain. So we chatted about this for a while. This was not quite this time, maybe July, August last year, we were talking about this. Anyway, the result was she took her blog down. She took it down completely. She's off social media altogether. She didn't even archive her Facebook. She's just gone. Because she said, that she and her husband have worked for 35 years to get what they have. And they have enough for them. So she doesn't want to lose it. I don't blame her. I don't blame her at all. I feel a bit the same way, guys. It takes time and effort to earn the money to be able to build a pantry. Now, even though I build it cheaply, and I can, stock quickly because I look for half price things. I buy ingredients. I'm not afraid to try generics or, what do they call them? Parallel imports, that sort of thing. I'm happy to do buy spot sells and trade for things that we need. It all works to build our pantry, but it all takes time and it all takes effort. It doesn't just happen. I didn't wake up one morning and the shelves were full and everything was done. I really wish. That would be great. It takes time and it takes effort. I know you all would love to see my pantry. I get asked often enough to share it, to show photos of it or pictures of it, or to do a show about it. The answer is no. And it's going to stay no. Aside from the fact that it's my pantry to suit my family, what we have is what we've worked to put together. And it is built to sustain our family for 12 months. Now, I've said that often enough. That's nothing new. It's not built for your family or your family, our family, a neighbour's family, some random stranger who thinks it's their right to demand and be given. I build my pantry to fit our needs and wants. And if you are building your pantry, you are building it for your needs and your wants, for the things that your family needs. You're working for the money to buy the seeds or the half-price specials to stock your pantry with the things that you want, that you use, that you need. You are doing the shopping and the packing and the organising. You are doing the vacuum sealing and the freezing, or you're doing the dehydrating or the canning or the bottling. You are doing all this. And make no mistake, it is hard work, even if you enjoy it. And you're doing it all to suit your family's needs. Not your family and a few friends who aren't wise enough to ensure they have pantry security. You're doing it for your family. So no one else needs to know about it and no one else has the right to it. That is not being greedy. That is not hoarding. It's not being afraid. It's not being a prepper, as we think of preppers. It is being wise. It is being prudent. It's being a good steward of what you have. It's not hoarding. I've said that and I'll keep saying it. Don't fall for that trap. If you are smart enough to think ahead, to shop ahead and prepare ahead for the future, by building a pantry, that is not hoarding. That is beating the smartest economists in the world at their own game. If you never pay, think of it this way, if you never pay full price for food, your ROI, or your return on investment, is better than anything the stock market has produced in the last 40 years, if ever. If you stock your pantry with half-price specials, you're making 100% on your investment. Just saying, think about it. When you think of pantry building, think of it like that. It puts a whole new perspective on your pantry, on the security you have in your pantry, on the investment in your pantry. And that sort of explains why you shouldn't be sharing the contents of your pantry with anyone. You wouldn't give anyone the fine details of your stock portfolio or your bank account, would you? I wouldn't. So why give them the fine details of your pantry security? Why do they need to know? Now, I don't hesitate to share our excess with family, friends, neighbours, even random strangers. Happy to do it. I'll be doing it probably on Thursday. A random stranger gave me huge bag of, he tried to give me a huge box and I couldn't take it, a huge bag of lemons on Friday. So many lemons, I got 3 litres of juice out of them. So I will be taking him back, and he happened to mention that his mother likes lemon butter, because I said I would be using them for lemon butter. He said, oh, his mother loved lemon butter. So I will take him a couple of jars of lemon butter, because lemons right now, I saw them for $1 each the other day, last week, $1 each for lemons. Yikes. If you don't have a lemon tree, folks, go and get one. Even if you pay $30 for it, it will be worth it. So I will gratefully and gladly take him back a couple of jars of lemon butter for his mother. It's a simple thing to do. I don't mind sharing. He shared with me. I'm happy to reciprocate. There's a food shelf at a local op shop, just walking distance to us. And I try to add to it probably about once a month. When I do the shopping lists and check the pantry over, if I've got a bit extra of something, I'm happy to drop it on the food shelf. It's there for people that need it to take it, because we are blessed to have enough for our needs. We don't go hungry, and we don't need more than enough. So I'm happy to share excess. That is my choice. Need a drink of water. Sorry, guys. I'm a bit hoarse here. It's my choice. I'm not doing it because it's expected. And I probably, if it was expected, I would probably get my stubborn on and just dig my heels in and go, not happening. I won't do it. I'd find someone else to share with. I'm also not doing it because it's mandated by a government with greedy fingers. Now, while our governments at the moment aren't quite that bad, it could well happen. Why did I mention Cheryl's situation? Going back to my friend. Well, it sort of has to tie in with my last comment too, because with all the technology that we are using, all the technology that we willingly surround ourselves with, as well as what we're now being legislated to use, here in Victoria, QR codes. I think it's Australia-wide, QR codes. Now you have to use it or there's a massive fine. It's easier than ever for businesses and even government to know what you have, where you've been, how much it costs. Now, okay, I know perhaps I should have a tinfoil hat on. Sounds a bit wacky. Hannah's going to giggle at me now because she's just walked in, guys. And she's probably going to make me a tinfoil hat. She doesn't want to waste the tinfoil. Look, and I know there are strict privacy laws and policies governing all sorts of things that companies, businesses, shops, stores, whatever, doctors, everybody has to abide by. But have you ever noticed that you swipe your loyalty card at the supermarket and all of a sudden you're inundated with emails and ads about what you just bought? Ever noticed that? Or you did a search for something online and all of a sudden your Facebook feed or your emails full of ads about what you were searching for. That's tracking, folks, and that is legal. So when you shop and swipe your loyalty card and then use your credit or debit card to pay for the shopping, and most of us do, especially these days after we've all been told that, apparently all of a sudden cash is the filthiest thing on earth, just if it hasn't always been filthy. Everything you buy is on record. How much, where you bought it, the brand, the size, everything. And it could be traced right back to you. Yeah, I know, tinfoil hat again. So let me just say it again. If you use a card to pay for your groceries or you order online and you use your loyalty cards or any combination of those three, then it's easy enough for any government to find out what you have and how much you have. They will already know the size of your household. And from that, they will then be able to determine that the fact that you have 417 rolls of toilet paper, but only 2 people in the house, you have way more than they think you need. Doesn't matter that you won't buy toilet paper again for 20 years. You have way more than they think you need, so they will come and take it. Now, again, tinfoil hat, sorry. I'm not saying that's happening in Australia. I am saying, though, it's a possibility. Things go pear-shaped, these things will happen. It's not meant to scare you, nor is it meant to stop you from using your loyalty cards or your debit card. No, it's just something to think about in terms of your pantry and your pantry security. I don't just believe in handing over what we have to anyone, be it family, friends, random strangers, government. Now, charity is important. It's vital, especially in our society at the moment. And if someone genuinely needs it, there is no question. We should be graceful enough to show charity. If we have plenty, if we have enough, let alone plenty, then we should be graceful enough to show charity to those that need it. But if someone is perfectly capable of building their own pantry, of taking care of themselves, but is simply too lazy to do so, then they don't deserve charity in the form of my pantry or your pantry. We could show them how they can build their pantry so that they have pantry security, so they don't need to rely on handouts from their friends, family, strangers, food bank, whatever. We can show them. You might think your pantry is safe. You might well believe your pantry is safe. Nobody knows about it. But think about this. I have a friend who was a great inspiration to me for pantry building. She took down her blog. She hasn't posted in almost a year. Why? Because during lockdown in her state last year, her local government was taking what they believed was excess and handing it out. Taking it from people that had worked hard for it and handing it out. Now, I know she's not greedy, but as I mentioned before, and as she said, she and her husband worked for 35 years to have what they have. They worked hard to be able to build the pantry they have, to have that food security, that cleaning security, the seed security. And she shares with her children, her adult children. She shares with the food pantry at her church. She works in a local soup kitchen, and she actually takes stuff from her garden to the soup kitchen. She's been known to help neighbours out with meals when they've been ill or they've been off work. She shares. She isn't greedy, and she's not hoarding. She just doesn't think anyone should be able to just demand that she hand over what she's worked for and expect it to happen. And honestly, I am with her. There is no way I want to be forced to hand over everything we have or anything we have that we've worked for because someone else wants it. Because someone else wants what we have. I think that's robbery. That is just plain robbery. Now, the other thing is, of course, if you use a card to pay for your groceries, or I'm repeating myself here, but, you know, these things are recorded. So they're easily traced, they're easily tracked. It's, if it makes me sound like a nutcase, well, then I am, you know. I can be as nutty as I am. That's just me. I'm pretty sure I'm not really a nutcase, though. You may argue I'm a nutcase, Hannah. Yeah, Hannah says I'm a nutcase, you know. But it's something to think about, guys. Your pantry and your pantry security is your responsibility. So don't blab about it, for want of another word. Look, the point I want to make, and there is a point, I know it's taken me a while to get here. Your pantry is your business. You don't go advertising it. Don't put photos on Facebook or Instagram, even if you slather it with a watermark. You might think your location is safe. You might think your identity is safe. It's not really. It's out there forever. It's never going to disappear. You know, don't tell the world how much you have invested in your pantry security, because it is an investment. By all means, if you find a great sale, share it. We all want to know about it. If you find a really tasty recipe using pantry ingredients, share it. We all like new recipes. If you choose to find a new way of preserving, share it. We all like to know how to make our food last longer. We all want to know how to stretch it. You just don't have to go into the fine details. Now, I know, and I'll say this again, my pantry will sustain us for 12 months. But I don't go into the exact details of what we have in our pantry. I have given you lists of some of the things that we have. I've explained to you roughly how I work things out, but I don't give you the nitty-gritty. I don't give you the exact fine details. And I'm not going to. I wouldn't expect you to do that to me, give that information to me. It's not necessary. Now, talking of preserving, did you know we started a new preserving thread in the members forum? Yes. Was that a sarcastic comment from the peanut gallery over there? Yeah. And the lovely Karen, is she on tonight? Let me pop over and see. Oh, lovely Kerry, sorry. Oh, sorry, Kerry. Sorry, Kerry. I apologise. I can't see if she's here. Anyway, Kerry is the moderator of that for me. So that's really good. I actually put up this weekend's canning efforts this morning. Lucked out, folks. Was in Coles, just a fluke with Hannah. And as we do, I think most of you probably do too, you always sort of do the perimeter and look for the markdowns and stuff. And we were cruising past the mince, and it was marked down to $6 a kilo. The $12 a kilo mince down to $6 a kilo. Now, I don't know about you. It has been about 3 years since I've been able to get mince for $6 a kilo. So I took 4, and we sort of waited a while. And there were people I do not understand. I don't understand their thinking, but anyway, that would move the markdown and take the full price one. Must have more money than I have, or they need a lesson in shopping the markdowns. Anyway, so I went back and I said to Hannah, nobody's taking it. We will. So we've got 10 kilos of mince for $60, and it's brilliant mince. So I pressure canned 7 kilos of it yesterday. So I put a photo of that little effort up in the preserving thread. I guess, if you had the patience and time, you could wait and see what I post about our pantry and about the shopping lists, and you might be able to work out what we have and how much we have of each thing. But seriously, if you can do that, building your own pantry would be a breeze and be a snap. You wouldn't need to worry about it. If you want pantry security, just keep it to yourself. Just keep your pantry to yourself. By all means, you can say, oh, I've got a great bargain on whatever, or just keep it to yourself. Don't spread it far and wide for all the world to know. We have enough invading our privacy these days. We don't need our pantries invaded either. They're investments and they're security for our families, and we need to keep that to ourselves. Think of it as, government has national security, you have family security, and your pantry is part of your family security. You don't blab about it far and wide, you just keep it to yourself so that when you need it, it is there for you to use. As I said, it doesn't mean you can't be generous and you can't share. It just means that you're being prudent, wise, and a good steward of what you have, and you're looking after your family. All righty. Now, let me see. Have I got any questions? Let's see if I can find all capitals in the chat here. Let me see. Sorry, guys. Oh, it keeps flashing up new comment, but I can't see them. All right. Oh, Julia's having trouble with her internet. All right. So Delaney says, 100% agree that my pantry is my business. No one but me knows the extent or the contents of my pantry, just like your bank account, etc. Well said, Delaney. Very well said. I don't know that I'm brave, Julia. Suzanne, I would hate to think that I was selfish. I would hate to think that I was greedy. I try very hard not to be, but you never know. Joy says, what does Joy say? Joy says she thinks they're the selfish ones expecting you to give it away. No, I wonder about this because I've had a couple of friends come in, and we usually sit at the kitchen table, like I am now, sitting at the kitchen table for a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and whatever's. Sometimes there's biscuits, sometimes there's cake, sometimes there's not. We sit there and have it. But of course, that sort of gives them a good view into where my pantry basically is. And I've had a couple of people say, oh, I see you've got, that's a lot of that. Oh, can I just have a couple of tins because I can't be bothered going to shops? And they just expect that it will be handed over. They have no shame about saying, can I just have a couple of tins? Not, could I buy a couple of tins of pineapple off you? So I really don't want to stop at the shops on the way home. Now, they have to go past a shop or two or three or four to get home, but they still just expect being handed over. It's when you say no to that, I don't think that's being selfish. I don't think it's being greedy. It's not hoarding. I think it's just that some people don't appreciate that we had to work to earn the money to buy the pineapple that they want us to give them for free. All right. Now, right, here's a good question from Kelby and Gee. Doesn't add up that you still have a tight budget when you have 3 adult children, still living at home, paying board and a mortgage free. Do you mean your budget is tight by choice? Our budget, well, I guess it depends. Do you know how much we earn? Do I know how much you earn? Do you know how much my husband brings home? Do you know what our other commitments are? We have a tight budget, and yes, it is through choice because we have plans. We certainly won't be, we are not planning on depending on an age pension to sustain us in our retirement. We are not planning to rely on government handouts for anything. In fact, we don't. We save up for what we want and we pay cash for everything. We don't have debt. So I'm not sure how that doesn't add up for you, but you don't know our finances, just as I don't know yours. So you are surmising something that perhaps you have wrong. And if I don't mean to be offensive, if I've said that and it's offended you, then so be. But all right. Anyway, I hope I've answered it. I didn't take offense at it. I'm not offended at all. I'm just, as long as you're not offended by me saying what I've said. Okay. Delaney says, having a stockpile helps insulate your budget from inflation whenever you make your purchases. Yes. Now, that's a really good point. If you keep your pantry stocked, especially if you stock and never pay full price, you are always going to be ahead of inflation, always. Your return on that investment is huge, like I pointed out, but you are always going to be ahead of inflation. There isn't another investment in the world that will give you the return that a pantry stocked with ingredients that you use. There is absolutely no point in keeping things on the shelf if you don't use them. That is just wasted money. But if you keep your pantry stocked with ingredients that you use, that you have bought on half price or in bulk so they are cheaper and you have saved off the regular retail price, you are far ahead than any other investment that you could possibly come with. Okay. Right, I need to address this. Please don't be rude. That's not tolerated here. There is a huge difference being on a tight budget and actually choosing to be on a tight budget. Well, a tight budget's a tight budget. You know, I have friends that earn 4 times what we do, and they say their budget is tight. They're broke. We live very frugally. I need to address this, folks. We live very frugally. We live frugally by choice, but also from need. There is absolutely, how do I put this? Well, okay, I don't have a diplomatic bone in my body, so put it this way. We live this way because we choose to, but we live this way because we have to. We simply choose to live within our means. Now, our income is our income, and it's not any of your business. You can try and guesstimate. I've had people try and guesstimate how much we bring in all the time, and they are always wrong. Our budget is our budget. Our outgoings are our outgoings. So we live under our income so that we can save. We do that on purpose. So there is really no difference. A tight budget is a tight budget. We simply have savings for our future built into our budget. Lots of people don't. We also don't waste our money. We don't eat out. Maybe, oh gosh, I can't, well, we certainly haven't eaten out in 18 months. We sometimes get takeaway. We haven't had takeaway for weeks. During lockdown, we were having takeaway once a week. But that was covered, easily covered, by the fact that I wasn't driving. So I had petrol money building up in our budget. I don't know why I'm explaining myself, but you obviously want to know, and so I will do my best to answer you. Yeah, that's just it. But a tight budget is a tight budget. It doesn't matter who it is and how much income is coming in. If the budget's tight, the budget's tight. Okay, Jenny. Yes, Jenny, it can. Good pantry always helps with unexpected expenses because then you don't need to shop. Shop at home first, live out of the fridge, the freezer, the pantry. Works a treat. Alrighty. Oh, Jenny, congratulations. 20 yellow lemons in the first year. You will you'll probably find you might have if you've got a flush of lemons this year, next year might not be so good, but don't despair. It's just the way the trees will go. I found with our citrus, if we have a really bumper crop one year, the next year isn't usually quite so good. It seems to go odds and evens, and that's fine because it gives you time to recover, because who needs 500 mandarins every year? Okay. Suzanne, yep, loyalty cards. Would you know, I found Suzanne says she's gotten rid of her loyalty cards. It's really hard to get anything out of them. Really, really hard to get anything out of them. I found for a while it was all right, but then when the kids were at school and so they were eating different things and I was buying different things and whatever, it sort of worked, and I was doing more driving, so I had petrol points too. But these days, I'd be lucky to. It'd take me 2 years to get $10, I reckon, wouldn't it? Maybe. No. Because I don't do the shopping. I don't do the type of shopping that gets big rewards. Kathleen says, 2 neighbours have lemon trees full and we benefit. Our trees are small at the moment. I have neighbours, one neighbour with mandarins, one with mandarins, oranges and limes. And, of course, we've got mandarins, oranges, limes, lemons. So we are surrounded by fruit. And I've often, when our mandarin hasn't been fruiting, often asked our neighbours next door if I could have a half a dozen off their tree. So that it works. Okay. Thank you, Paula. And Beverly, Chris Miller. I'm not much interested in what people have in their pantry. It's not my business, but I would love some ideas on storing items without it looking like a warehouse in my place. Oh, okay. So I've put Chris's comment down the bottom here. I was speaking to Joy this afternoon, and I said, oh, next time you come to visit, if she's allowed to come to visit, when you walk in, it's like a maze of stuff. No, you can't. No, we can't walk in the dark in the house anymore. Oh, Hannah settles on her house in just over 13 days. There you go. In 13 days, Hannah settles on her house. So we've got boxes of furniture and mattresses and bed bits, and then she's got boxes where she's been sort of stockpiling groceries and stuff, and then we've got piles of doonas and sheets and it's just, and then she's got her old toy box, and she's got that full of bits of it, but that's in the hallway now, so you have to be careful. And there's ironing boards and clothes horses. It's just the carports. She's got not a washing machine, a fridge and a freezer that she picked up off Marketplace. So yeah, you think your house looks like a warehouse. Mine looks like a used furniture place, but never mind. I have shelves, Chris. I have shelves. I have a cupboard in my laundry, and I try to put the things that need to stay out of the light in that. So things like the herbs and spices and canned meat and stuff like that, the veggies and things. I try to put those in the cupboard so they're out of the light. But I've actually been thinking of just making some sort of curtain, and even not just to hide it so much as to keep the dust off the tops of the tins, because I know that probably sounds a bit over the top, doesn't it? But it drives me nuts if I see dust on the top of the tins, so I'm always wiping them down. So I thought just a curtain, I might just on elastic around it might help. I don't know. If you come up with a good idea, let me know. I'm always interested. Hello, Yvonne. Okay. Yeah, Beverly only lets her immediate family. Thank you, Paula. I'm pretty sure sometimes I could be quite a bit of a nutcase. I'm aware of things going on around the world right now, and some may not be aware yet. Okay, here's Paula's comment. I'm quite like, do you like this being me able to put comments up? It helps if you follow along, doesn't it? The world is really mixed up right now. There's all sorts of stuff going on, and some of it's weather related, as we've seen here, and we saw in New South Wales in March, we saw here in Victoria last week. It's just crazy. And now we've got some parts of the USA that are in the worst drought on record, and other parts are still flooded with flooding rains that they've never had before. Then we've got ships turning sideways in the Suez Canal, and there's a shortage of canning lids, shortage of canning bottles. Anyone knows where I can get some ball bottles or similar for canning, let me know. The world is crazy. People, I think people are scared. We don't need to be scared. There's nothing to be scared about. We just need to be prepared. And one of the advantages that we all have as individuals and as a group is we know how to prepare. We know what we need to do, and we know how to do it within our means. So we are able to do that. It might take us a bit longer to do it because, we might need peanut butter, but the peanut butter's short on the shelves. Remember earlier this year I couldn't get baked beans for love nor money. Baked beans are back in stock. We need to be a little bit flexible, but we know how to do that. So we don't have to be scared because we can be prepared and we know how to prepare. Yeah. And yeah, keeping your pantry stocked is just sensible. Now, you all know that I would normally let our pantry run down and just do one shop a year, but last year and now this year I'm restocking as we use, just so that it is always where I want it to be. I can't say I enjoy it because I'd much rather just spend a week of shopping and putting stuff away and then sit back for the rest of the year and relax. But it's working for us for now. If I'm ever able to go back for once a year shopping, then that's what we'll be doing. Yeah. Joy. Joy says, I love this. What is this? Joy says her son is so well trained now. If he's in the shop and sees a bargain or a markdown, he calls and asks if we'd like it. That's gorgeous. How well trained is that? Kathleen, what do you find inspiring? My pantry? Ingredients? Let me know what you find inspiring. I've lost the train of thought there. Sorry, darling. Yes, now Annette's brought up a thing here. Have heard the price of canned tin foods is going to rise between 30 and 40%. Now that is, that's most likely the USA and possibly Canada. I haven't heard quite that for us here. The issue is there's a shortage of tins, or a shortage of material available to make tins. That's been caused by all sorts of different ridiculous reasons. I have heard and have tried to follow up to make sure that it's not just a Facebook clickbait rumory thing going around, that Italian tin tomatoes could well end up being in short supply, and those farmers could well end up having to destroy their crops simply because there's not enough tins to actually process this year's bumper crop. That would be heartbreaking. I have heard that. I'm personally already experiencing the difficulty and the shortage in getting canning supplies. So the jars, the lids, I have plenty of rings. I just am short of jars and lids. For my pressure canning, I have plenty of jars and lids that I can use for hot water bathing. So for your Fowler's Vacola type canning. But the pressure canning I'm really running low on, and I'm sort of starting to be very mean with what I pressure can. But I want to be able to pressure can because it makes it shelf stable as opposed to relying on freezing. So I'm caught between a rock and a hard place. I found some lids. I can't remember whether I told you or not. I found some lids at Spotlight. They were very expensive, I thought. They were over $10 for the box, wasn't it?
There was only 6 in the box, and I think it was $18.
Yeah, 6 rings and lids in a box and $18. It was very, very expensive. And then I'm doing a bit of research. They are not actually suitable for pressure canning. They looked like the ball lids. They were round and they had the little rubber thing inside, just like a ball lid would. But on investigation, this particular brand is only good for hot water bathing. Well, I don't do a lot of hot water bathing anymore. I do mostly pressure canning. So, but yeah, again, we don't use a lot of tinned foods. Pineapple, baked beans, tomato soup are my 3 biggies. Coles had Campbell's soups for $1 a can last week. So I did get some cream of chicken and cream of mushroom. Yeah, because I use those in chicken casserole or tuna surprise sometimes. If I haven't made the moo cream of condensed cream of chicken soup, because sometimes I just can't be bothered, and that's okay. Because most of the time I'm pretty good. I will just open a tin. Choices for its enemies. Barbara. Oh, Barb, you'd be surprised at what people, okay. Barb says, oh my gosh, that's so rude of me. I guess that's for people saying, I see you've got, I'll just have. A lot of the time they just don't think. We live in a world of, I see it, I want it, so I'm going to have it. And people don't engage their brain before they open their mouth. And they just blurt out whatever they're thinking without actually stopping and realizing that perhaps it's been insulting or, rude or inappropriate, whatever. You sort of roll with the flow, go with the flow or something. Here we go. What have we got? Putting it hard not to have it look like a warehouse, putting it in cupboards, under beds, etc. Maybe each room stores a particular type of product out of view. I have found that the hardest thing to store is the actual groceries, as in food, because laundry things go in the laundry cupboard, the bathroom things are split between the bathrooms, the garden stuff is obviously in the garden shed, all my craft stuff spread all over the house, that sort of thing. Our spare clothing is in storage in our wardrobes at the top of the shelves. So those sorts of things are quite easily put away. But groceries, pretty hard to find. Yeah, Kathleen's got the idea, put a curtain across. Oh, thank you, Sherry. I don't know that I'm that wise, but I've got a lot of experience. Poor Janet. I hope you didn't get scratched when the cat jumped on you. All right. Yvonne's brought up something here. Skip the first part. Who would not want to spend money wisely? Really interesting. In a bit of a debate with a young person and a man that I sort of think is probably in his 50s from the sound of him, about, there was a thing on the ABC, and I have started to do some notes to do a show about this thing on the ABC about how young people will never be able to afford a home. Even in the country areas now, they'll never be able to afford a home. And it's so hard on them. And that sort of comment and that sort of attitude really gets my back up. Because I'm sorry, guys, interest rates are so low at the moment. Wages are really high at the moment. When we bought our first house, interest rates were topping 18%. Wages, we were earning less than 20% of what we're earning now. So yes, our house might not have been cost as much, but our wages were way lower in relation to what we were buying, and the interest rates were way higher. And all I simply said was, it can be done if they really want it to. And it's simply a matter of, for a very short time, in the grand scheme of things, going without eating out new clothes, getting your nails done, going over. You make the sacrifices. Now, my girlie has bought her own house. She had a huge deposit. She's only ever had until the last 18 months, she's only ever had casual work. She did that on casual work, casual wages. She still managed to clothe herself. She still managed to get her nails done occasionally. She saved up and bought a car. She even travelled overseas. She did all that herself. Now, yes, she had to go further out to buy her house so that it wasn't as much. I actually think she's done better than she would ever have done. If she'd spent 3 times as much, she wouldn't have got as nice a home in Melbourne. She did that on her own, and she did it because she lived below her means. She has a written budget. She still has, and I often will go in every now and then, she's still scribbling in her budget. She saves up. Her only debt will be her mortgage. It can be done, but you need to be able to, you want to be prepared to do it. And this man came back at me and said, it was fine for me to be high and mighty, but I really, had no idea. He'd been employed all his life, and he would, need another 10 years before he could save up for a deposit in the house, for a house deposit in the city where he lived in now. Move. I was rude. When I wrote back, I said, well, I'm sorry, but you're just stupid. Move. If it's going to take him another 10 years to save up and he's already been saving, he needs to move. He needs to change his game plan. He needs to move. Move somewhere cheaper. Get into the market. Work like crazy to pay it down, sell it, and then move back into where he wants to be. People seem to think that their first home has to be the best home these days. It doesn't. It just has to be a roof and walls and a floor that you can pay off, that you can do a little bit to improve it to suit you, and that you pay off so that then if you want to, you can sell it to buy something better. You don't automatically go into your forever home. You need to work up to it. Sorry, on my high horse. Sorry, Yvonne. But yes. And some days it is a struggle to be disciplined. And some days I feel like I can't be bothered doing this and giving it all up. But there you go. Yes, Michelle, that's very good. Here's Michelle's point. If you choose a tight budget, you can avoid having to have a tight budget from dire necessity. Absolutely. Right. Yep. Let me see. Sorry, guys. Skim milk had jumped up by $2.50. Oh, my goodness, Deb. That's terrible. We noticed flour's up over $1 a kilo. When my friends asked for the tin pineapple, how'd you say no, please? I gave her 1 tin. She wanted 2. I gave her 1. And as I was handing it over, I did make a, there goes my hard-earned. Yeah. Anyway, hello, Annabelle. Okay, Coles powdered milk's jumped up direct. Oh, gosh. Janet. We use large totem bins to store. Each coloured lid represents what type of item it's in. Blue, water, use products, red, first aid, etc. Great idea. I do much the same with my, let me click on that. I love doing this. I'm a bit click happy tonight, guys. I do sort of like that with my freezer storage bags. So the red bags are red meat, the yellow bags are chicken, the green bags are the vegetables, the blue bags are the bread and cakes and biscuits and stuff like that. Just makes it easier to get stuff out of the chest freezer. Yeah. Thank you, Michelle. Where are you? Thank you. Canning jars can be bought from Bunnings now. Okay, I'll have a look and see. I keep looking on Marketplace and, buy swap swells and things too. Telling people about your well-stocked pantry could also make your target for burglary if food shortages. Yeah, Suzanne, it's that sort of thing. They won't get into our house. Tinfoil hat on again, sorry guys, but yes, all sorts of things. My mind is crazy, but things like that do run through my mind too. Okay, Delaney. Oh, I like that. This is Delaney's. Yes, you can. If someone wants something from your stock, oh, yes, you can, but it would probably be cheaper for you to go to the supermarket than buy from my convenience store and set your price. Love it. Maybe I should make some little price tags and hang on the shelves. Did you hear that? She said do it after she moves. I love that, Delaney. Kathleen, I find seeing well-planned pantries inspiring. I wouldn't say mine's well-planned. It's just there. It's not pretty. It's not pretty. I remember seeing, I think she was in Adelaide, a woman in Adelaide, and she had done her pantry out in all beautiful Kmart canisters and baskets. And I was looking at it thinking, oh, I love it. And then I thought, I would go insane. Because as I was looking at it, there wasn't any actual no groceries in it. Like there was no tins of tomato soup or packets of Wheat Bix or, bags of rice. It was just all pretty stuff. And I'd go mental with that. Yeah. Beverly said Spotlights, 10 litres, stack of 5 plastic containers for $20, good for storage. Officeworks is also often very, very good for the smaller stackable plastic trays. And coming up for end of financial year, they'll be starting to put their sales out too. Kathleen, Ozfarm are out of stock and they have no, I'm speaking to them probably, I'm hounding them, I'm probably speaking to them every 10 days or so. They don't have delivery dates. No, Suzanne. Oh, okay. Okay, Joy's got a good point here with the price of jars because all jars are very expensive. They have tripled in price since February last year, which is really sad. The Fowler's jars, I'm not checking prices on those yet because a friend gave me a whole heap that I've just finished using up. But yeah, jars are reusable. Your jars are reusable. Your canning jars are reusable, whereas tins aren't necessarily. It's the lids that are expensive. The lids used to be, when I first started, the lids were about 30 cents each. Now they're well over $1 each. And even with free fruit, that sort of makes it a bit expensive. Okay, plastic tablecloths from Dollar Tree comes in colours and are large enough to cover bookshelves and doorways. They might work to cover things. That's a good idea. Reject Shop, I know. Reject came up, sells beautiful colours, pretty colours in plastic tablecloths, and they are huge. Oh, not anymore? Oh, and they're ugly colours now, are they? Oh, they've gone up to $3. Okay, try the Reject Shop. And if you have a Cheapest Chips, they used to have them too. Really pretty colours in the plastic tablecloths, but they were really big. I use them on the tables when we do card days. So, yeah, now. Maureen, are you saying my daughter's going to live out in the sticks? Joy, you're right. When we first we got our first mortgage too, it was only Wayne's wage that was taken into account, and the repayments couldn't be more than 22%. On our loan, they couldn't be more than 22%. I think government regs at that stage were 24%, 23 or 24%, but our loan conditions were the repayments couldn't be more than 22% of the gross, which was really deceiving, the gross income. Kathleen said, well done and congratulations. So did Karen T. Karen, she's moving a long way away. I'm going to have to use a lot of petrol to go and visit. Beverly says she's stunned to hear that some people spend up to $3,000 on a phone every year. I know. And then they've got no money. They can't afford to buy a house, can't afford to save up for a mortgage or a new car. Okay. Jenny, that's exactly right. Short time pain, long time gain. One of my favourite things that I used to tell people is you can do anything for 15 minutes. So you cannot spend money for 15 minutes. And when that 15 minutes is up, you don't spend money for another 15 minutes. When that 15 minutes is up, you don't spend any money for that 15 minutes. You can do anything for 15 minutes. So if you're thinking, it's going to take me 25 years to pay off this house, you'll crumble in a heap. But if you know, so this month I can make a double payment, that's easy to do. You'll work it out and you'll do it. You can do anything if you have to. Okay, what's Annabelle? Hello, Annabelle. If people will be prepared to move. You should have. If people would be prepared to move, oh my goodness, they could have so many opportunities. You can get a good home on a good block for $75,000 in South Australia. And she still could have worked for the same company. There you go. Well, there you go. You've already said you'd made. She hasn't even moved in yet, and already she's made a profit on her house if she chose to sell it. How's that? Yeah, Joy, this is a wise man told us when we were first married, get the worst or cheapest house in the best street. Wayne's uncle, his uncle Malcolm, was a real estate agent. And when we were looking, we had, it wasn't the worst house. The worst house was across the road from us. It was awful. And it wasn't the best house, but it wasn't the worst house. But it was in a pretty good street. And held us in good stead. Okay. Joy uses coloured bags. Maureen uses coloured bags. Great coloured bags. Oh, thank you, Kathleen. I thought it was just me. This woman's pantry. Oh, let me hear. Here might go. Click. Yeah. This lady's pantry. It was gorgeous. And it was a butler's pantry. So, it was just beautiful. It was in a newish house. And I was like, oh. And it just looked beautiful. Everything was stacked and layered. And then I was looking at it and going, oh, I love it. And I thought, well, where's she got the tomato? The first thing, well, where's she put the tomato soup? I went, where's the wheat mix? Nothing was there. So, Oh, that was pretty cheap, Joy. Okay, now let me see. Have I gone down? Yeah, Karen, she's in the market. But you know what? The house she's bought is absolutely gorgeous. It is. I went with her to look at it when she looked at it for the first time. It was like we'd looked at a couple, and one of them, if Wayne had been with me, I'd have bought it. I loved it. I really liked it. It was too big for Flossie. So, but I really liked this house. Anyway, so off we go. And we looked at a couple, and they just weren't right for her. And we pulled up out the front of this house, and we just looked at it. And I just said, oh, I really like it. We hadn't even got out of the car. So I really like this house. And then the agent came and took us in, and we hadn't even got out of the lounge room. And I think she decided we hadn't even got out of the lounge room. It was home. It just felt like home. It's beautiful. So she did the right thing. She paid extra to get an independent building inspection done. And that came back with everything was okay and everything was working and everything was right and the roof was good and all that stuff. So, yeah. But it's she does have to move away. She'd have to move further out, but she can work. She can keep her job. She'll be working from home, and she's not that far away anyway. So, yeah. And she can afford it. And that's the thing. That's the thing that she did. She looked for something that she could afford if she wasn't earning as much as she is now. So that if she did have to change jobs and go for a lower wage, she'd still be able to pay her mortgage. She didn't overextend, if that's the right word, anyway. All right, now, here we go. Gosh. We're all getting excited, Maureen. Joy's got blue for a fish. Okay. Yeah, and Annette says, I don't know where your last comment went. We all stockpile for different reasons, have different budgets and tastes, etc. And we do. And that's why your pantry is yours and mine is mine. That's why, and I've said this for, not just tonight, but for years and years, I'm saying it's personal because I build our pantry to suit us. So when someone says, oh, I need to, what's in your pantry? Well, what I have in my pantry could be absolutely useless to you because if you don't eat what we do, you don't cook the way I do, you don't shop the way I do, you don't live our lifestyle, then it's almost irrelevant. I can tell you I stack it on shelves. I do because I like to buy things in the trays. So I just take the tray and use those cardboard trays that they come in to stack on the shelves because everything stacks neatly then. But, you know, it's really difficult. It's a bit like me saying, well, show me your wardrobe. You could be taller than me, shorter than me, wider than me, thinner than me. Most people are thinner than me, you know, older than me, younger than me, have bigger feet, smaller feet, whatever. It's totally, it's irrelevant. It's not going to work. So anyway, and yes, Joy, you do have to always think about affording interest rate rises. I've been getting it for a while, but I'm pretending not to see. All right, so she's noticed. All right. Okay, just one last question, and I'll put it up here. How long did it take for me to work out a Pantry needs? 2020 was my first year of stocking up, and it's taking time to work out what our needs are. Well, okay, first of all, I've been doing this for, how old are you, 25, 26? I've been doing this for nearly 27 years. What I did was I sat down and I wrote a monthly shopping list. I actually wrote a weekly shopping list. Everything I would buy in a week. So the packet of Wheat Bix, the thing of butter, the bottle of milk, the whatever. I wrote that. Then I simply multiplied it by 4 to shop monthly. So I get 4 packets of Wheat Bix, 4 things of butter, 4 blocks of cheese, 4 bottles of milk. I put them in the freezer. We didn't use sour milk. That's worked it out like that. And I started off shopping monthly. What I discovered was we're pretty boring, or I'm a pretty boring cook, because pretty much it would be the odd herb or spice or something that would change, or maybe throw in an extra light globe or something. Pretty much bought the same stuff over and over and over. So then I realised if I used 4 tins of tomato soup a month, that was 12 tins a quarter, so just 1 tray of tomato soup a quarter. So then I needed 4 trays for the year. If we used 1 packet of Wheat Bix a week, then that's 52 packets of Wheat Bix for the year. Things like flour and sugar took a bit more fine-tuning. Sometimes I bake more, sometimes I don't. We really only use sugar in some baking, not even all our baking, and in jams these days. Mainly jams. None of us have sugar on cereals or in tea or coffee or anything like that. So sugar, probably maybe 6 kilos of sugar a year, depending on the jams I'm making. Because unless I'm selling jam, the jam I make for us, we just don't eat a lot of the sweet stuff anymore. So I've cut back on the sugar too, but that's how I did it. It will take you a while, and I'm still fine-tuning. it. And once Hannah moves out, I'll be fine-tuning it again, because of course there's one person less that I need to keep in the rotation. So, things like soap and shampoo took a little bit longer to work out, because seriously, a cake of soap can last for a long time. So I know I had a friend once say to me, don't you wash? I went, yeah, we do, but a cake of soap lasts a long time. And when the kids were little, I used cakes of soap. We didn't use body wash. We didn't use shower gels or anything like that, because they were costly and easier to waste. So I've done a couple of videos on this. If you go back through the video library and see what they are, that might help you. But you will always You know, circumstances change, tastes change, things that you know, kids are fond of Wheat Bix for 6 months and then won't touch them again because they like rolled oats or whatever. Yeah. Well done. Night, Julie. Yep, 301 Jules has been tracking her grocery orders, so she's going to wait till that's great. Alrighty. Good night, everyone. Okie dokie. Oh no, Annette, I just trays, buy the tray. It's so much easier. So much easier. Okay, guys. Well, it's nearly an hour and a half. Sorry, I didn't mean to keep you so late tonight. But your pantry is your business. Nobody has the right to demand anything from it. And we need to protect it because our pantry security is part of our family security. I'll leave you with that. I'll see you again next week, hopefully, same time. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great week, everyone.